Happy Aloha Friday, everyone. I hope everybody has a great upcoming weekend. The surf is still gigantic in my backyard, and so I am happy. Got a great session in today and did not get nailed by any Portuguese man of war, so I do not have a poison high during this video today. Unfortunate on the short term, but probably better off for the viewers of the video. Anyways, once again, another outstanding session in the overall stock market with the indexes closing near their intraday highs, and it just was a solid session as you look throughout all the indexes that I throw up. And as you can see, volume was higher across the board, and in many indexes, pocket pivot point buy signals were given, like the Dow Jones Industrial Average, S&P 500, and the the New York Stock Exchange. And then the NASDAQ, as you can see, another above average volume move higher. And that then brings me to something that you don't see too often, and that's an above average volume week of gains for the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ was up 1.82% for the week, and volume was above the 50-week moving average, which is a rarity. And on a monthly chart frame, you can see that even though volume is below average, it is at least starting to creep up higher than the red down bars on the monthly averages. On the New York Stock Exchange, however, as you can see, volume is still disturbingly absent, and it's at levels that we saw back in 99 2000. It's like the past 13 years didn't happen, but overall everything is hitting all-time highs, especially the Russell 2000. That looks fantastic. The Nasdaq obviously is further way to go from 5,000, but an internet tech bubble is kind of, a once in a lifetime deal. So really, to me, basically, if we get rid of that little 99 to 2000 head right there, I guess you could say the top right there, we're near all-time highs in the NASDAQ. I'm going to pretend like 4,000 is the all-time highs, which is ridiculous, but whatever works for you. So overall, the market's doing great, and internally today, the strongest group that I noticed was the oil group, Marathon Petroleum Corporation, as you can see here, giving a pocket pivot point buy signal. Helmerich and Payne gapping above the handle of the current basically cup with handle formation. It's technically not a cup with handle because the handle is being formed in the bottom half of the base. But in this market environment, I don't know which way's up and which way's down when it comes to patterns. So a breakout is a breakout is a breakout. Diamond Offshore Drilling, pocket pivot point, gap up buy signal on that one. APC Anadarko Petroleum, a move right off 50-day moving average to new highs. Tesoro, a breakout to new highs on very strong volume following a pocket pivot point buy signal the day before. And COG, Cabot Oil and Gas Group, as you can see, a bounce right off the 50-day moving average, creating a pocket pivot point buy signal. And that's in my perfect speculator scan, which is a super high quality scan looking for strong momentum stocks. So oil is definitely moving out there. And then on top of oil moving, I noticed Goldman Sachs had a great day. Credit Suisse Group had a great day. Pocket pivot point buy signal on that one. Already showed you Goldman Sachs, my bad. The Royal Bank of Scotland Group, look at that Bible, gap up on strong volume and break out further to close near the high of the day, only a penny off on strong volume. That looks great. And of course, Leggett and Platt. Sorry, man, I for some odd reason thought that was Legg Mason. So my bad. Ignore that last chart that I showed you. And then the most important one is National Bank of Greece. 5 days ago, actually, it was on this day. It was actually this day that I made mention that Greece was moving, and that watch it end up doing what we saw back in the bank stocks back in 2009. That's Bank of America, as you can see, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and look at MBG. So I kind of figured with all that volume, that huge volume coming in, especially on the upside on the reversal, that MBG would be a great stock. If you bought the calls like I suggested, which I did not do. Go figure. Wow, you've made a ton of money. And actually, in fact, the calls are up right around 1,000% since that initial move that I flagged back in May on the 8th. So quite an impressive surge by National Bank of Greece. And I continue to think, looking at that weekly chart and then comparing it to Bank of America back in 2009, Goldman Sachs back there in 2009, Credit Suisse, as you can see, Citigroup, you take a look at that, and then you look at MBG, and you have all the telltale signs of a stock that's probably bottom. So, it's not all ugly out there. And also tonight, not taking LG&D long. Volume is below the 50-day moving average, but if you have MarketSmith or any way to look at the earnings per share and sales growth, take a look at this stock and you'll see that recently the earnings and sales have exploded to the upside. Beautiful or nice consolidation pattern, but some beautiful numbers. Strong mutual fund growth. VRX, a pocket pivot point buy signal at the 50-day moving average. This is playable if you want, but volume is below average, so just like LG&D. So once again, I will be passing on it. LOC case continues to be my favorite consolidation pattern that I'm studying very closely. A close above the 1019 level or the 1018 level is going to get me long lock. Hopefully it also continues to keep its max green bop and closes at the high of the day when it decides to eclipse that 1018, 1019 level. And SNCR was one of the better breakouts today, too far off the high of the day for my interest, and also the price action is a little bit looser than the tight price action that we saw, for instance, from December to the February gap up, and overall from February to April. So, you know, it's a little bit looser, but still a nice breakout. Just closed a little too far off the high day for my liking. And then FURX is another drug, biotech, pharmaceutical, you know, healthcare related stock that I'm watching. And FURX, huge earnings and sales growth of the most recent quarter. Definitely one that you want to check out on MarketSmith or any financial data provider that you follow that tracks these matrices. Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm an idiot. But anyway, FURX is taking out the 50-day moving average, so my eyes on that one is on lock, and VRX and LG&D are the best ones for possibly going long if you decide to go long. We only have two partial sells. HTA is closing below the 20-day moving average after already producing more gains following its previous 20-day moving average close. So that is technically a partial sell. However, it's well above the 50-day moving average, still above the previous breakout pivot point area. And it did so closing below the 20-day moving average on low volume. But since it's so weak on a relative strength basis short term, I'll go ahead and sell 10% instead of 20 or 25%. A heavier volume close below 20-day moving average with this exact price close would have been a 20% sell. If BOP, let's say, would have turned red or would have closed near the low of day, 25%. But as it is now with the 50-day moving average so far away, it's only going to be 10%. And also POWR is also going to be 10% because its 1353 close is above the support levels of like 1338 here and well above the 1331, 1328 lows here. So with it still holding that support line and being above the 50-day moving average, which is trending up, and closing below the 20-day moving average on below average volume, it too is also a 10% sell, not a 20% sell. And it wouldn't be a sell at all if the market would have been down today, but since the market is up, you can see the relative strength line, short term, some negative divergence, and this TSV line, there is some quite clear negative divergence, and it has been showing up since March. So all of that is evident on the chart, and so therefore a 10% sell is warranted. And if we were in a bear market or in a market where it wasn't clear that higher prices could easily still continue, even though we are in stratospheric levels here, CWST is failing right at the 50-day moving average, and it's already in a steady downtrend, is constantly failing at this key line, and is finally doing so in heavy volume. And as you can see, this thing could easily fall back to where it was back in the 2009 lows. So as you can see, there's still a very, very, very large potential to make some big money shorting this stock. However, we are in an uptrending market, so shorting is not advised. Okay, everybody, have a great weekend.